Back in the 1990s, not long after I finished high school, something big happened to me. To understand it all, I need to tell you about a guy I knew. I met him when I was about 14. He was older, but I never really knew by how much because he didn't always tell the truth. We saw each other during the summer breaks for a couple of years. Yes, it's true. In my last year of high school, we met one cold night. He asked if I'd be his girlfriend. I liked him, so we started seeing each other all the time. He was a nice guy, or so I thought. There were signs that he might be a bit controlling, like when he'd get upset if other boys looked at me, especially if I wore something like a dress. Right after my 18th birthday, we decided to live together. I was still going to school and working part-time. I thought living with him would be fun and that we'd support each other. That wasn't the case. After I finished school, I got another job, but he kept leaving his jobs. Even though things were tough, I was still excited about going to college nearby. I wanted to make everything work. After a while, things got worse. We had fights, and sometimes he'd get really angry and hurt me. I knew deep down that I deserved better. Every time he hurt me, he'd say sorry and that it wouldn't happen again. But then he'd also say scary things like he could hurt me really bad. One night, when our little boy was at home with me, he went out. I enjoyed these quiet moments with our son. I felt peaceful. Let's call this guy Meanie from now on. Meanie came home that night with a friend. I knew the friend, but not very well. When they came in, things seemed okay at first. But soon I noticed Meanie was talking to me in a weird way. He was pretending to be nice, but also making fun of me. I knew this meant trouble. I hoped his friend being there would keep things calm. I was wrong. I tried to keep to myself, staying close to our son, while they talked and had some drinks. I'm not sure what set him off, but suddenly Meanie was really mad. He was yelling and saying he was going to hurt me even though I was holding our baby. His friend was nearby but looked scared. I tried to leave, but Meanie blocked my way. He yelled that he was going to seriously hurt me. His friend looked like he didn't know what to do. I quickly gave him our baby and said, "Please keep him safe." As soon as I did, I felt Meanie pull my hair hard. Some time ago, Meanie started to hurt me really bad. I managed to run to the living room where we had our home phone. I tried to call 911, but before I could finish dialing, Meanie grabbed me and threw me on the floor. He took the phone and hit me with it. I felt so scared, I thought my call to 911 didn't work. He was really hurting me, hitting me and trying to choke me. My vision started going black and my head was spinning. I saw his friend and I asked him to help, but he looked just as scared as I felt. Meanie warned his friend, saying if he helped, he'd hurt him too. But I noticed the friend was keeping my baby safe, which made me feel a little better. I thought this was the end. I remembered how Meanie always said he'd really hurt me. I felt I had to do something, so I fought back as hard as I could. He was much stronger than me. I could tell he'd taken something, maybe drugs, which made him even stronger. He was a lot bigger than me too. But I was a mom, and I wanted to see my child grow up. I tried to grab and hurt him back, but nothing seemed to work. Suddenly, everything stopped. My head wasn't being hit anymore. I heard a loud knocking sound. It was the police at our door. It turned out my 911 call had worked. The police heard everything that was happening. When Meanie opened the door, he tried to lie, saying nothing was wrong. But the moment I stepped forward, a policeman saw how hurt I was. They quickly pushed Meanie away and took him into custody. A policeman talked to me. He said he had never seen someone so hurt but still alive. Meanie had hurt my face so bad that when I tried to drink water, it came out through a hole in my lip. Meanie called me from jail. He didn't even say sorry. He blamed me for what happened. I knew then I had to leave him for good, but he only got a short jail sentence. Before serving it, he moved to another place. He tried to find me and bother me, but I stayed away. Later, I heard he hurt another lady. Worse than he hurt me. He took her life. I felt so bad and guilty, but I also knew if I hadn't left, it could have been me. Now he's in jail. I don't think he feels sorry, but I hope he's getting what he deserves. I'm just grateful I was able to escape from him. In 2019, during the fall season, I met my old boyfriend again. Let's call him Jake for this story. For 6 whole years, there was a small part inside me that felt bad about ending things with Jake. So, when I saw him again, I was super excited and thought maybe we could start over. I know that might sound silly, but that's how I felt. Ignoring what my family and friends told me, I decided to move to a new town with Jake at the beginning of 2020. We found a lovely house with 2 rooms in a busy part of the south of Washington. I didn't know much about this place, but Jake seemed to know everything. Where to eat the yummiest food, cool places to go for a walk, and stuff like that. I felt that even if we had some arguments, we'd grown up enough to not let it come between us. But that feeling didn't last long. Jake was great at finding out about fun things happening around town, like music shows and festivals. After spending 2 happy weeks in our new home, he found out about a dance night in Portland, Oregon. It was a dance night with music from the Middle East at a bar that was underground. I'd been so busy setting up our house and was so happy about being with someone so good-looking, I forgot that Jake sometimes got really jealous and worried about silly things. Jake didn't have his own car, so I drove us in mine. We got there around 9 in the evening. Jake started buying lots of drinks, one after the other. We had fun dancing for the next hour or so. The place was really full of people, and it was hard to talk because of the loud music. After dancing for a bit, I needed to use the restroom. I told Jake I'd be right back. I went up the stairs to the main part of the bar and found the restroom. It was busy, so I had to wait a bit. It took around 15 minutes for me to finish up and go back downstairs. I was looking forward to dancing again. But when I got back, Jake wasn't there. I looked around and my jacket was still in our spot, but Jake was gone. I checked my phone to see if he'd messaged me, but nothing. After waiting for 10 more minutes and still no sign of Jake, I felt my phone buzz. Jake had left a voice message for me. A nervous feeling started to build up inside me as I remembered how Jake would get angry and jealous in the past. Oh no, I thought. I had given him my car keys because my bag was too small, and I didn't want them poking me while we danced. Even though I wasn't in a condition to drive, I had a bad feeling Jake wasn't at the dance night anymore. After waiting for a long time and feeling really tired, I decided it was time to leave. I wanted to hear what Jake's voice message was about. So I went back upstairs and stepped outside where it was a bit chilly. I played the message from Jake. He said, "I saw you looking at that guy while I wasn't there. Hope you have fun dancing. Try to find a way back home without me." And then he ended the call. I was so confused and shocked by Jake's voice message and how fast he jumped to conclusions. I didn't even know who he was talking about. And honestly, I'm not the kind of person to flirt with others, drunk or not. Plus, no one has ever just taken my car without telling me. So there I was, outside this dance place in a part of Portland that wasn't very safe, feeling a bit dizzy from all the drinks. 2 people even stopped by to check if I was okay because I must have looked lost. I had my phone with me, but I had no clue where Jake took my car, and I wasn't sure if I could get inside our house. I didn't want to stick around till the dance night ended, so I booked a ride on Uber. I told the Uber driver about everything that happened. He was really nice and worried for me. He asked, "Did he tell you he took your car? You know you can tell the police, right? That's not okay." "I hope he didn't lock me out of our house too," I replied. "Do you mind waiting a bit to see if I can get in?" "Of course, I'll wait," he assured me. When we reached our place, it was dark, and I found out Jake had not only taken my car but also locked me out. I was getting more and more angry. I looked around and found a window that was not locked. I got in through that window. The Uber driver gave me a thumbs up to make sure I was okay, and then he left. Inside, Jake was sitting on the sofa, acting like nothing happened. I saw my car keys near the window like Jake left them there just to mess with me. Angrily, I asked him, "What's wrong with you? Why'd you do that?" He replied, "Didn't you hear my voice message? I'm sure you were with some guy." I was so mad. I tried to show him my phone so he could see I wasn't talking to any other guy, but he didn't even want to look. Tired of arguing, I just went to bed and let Jake sleep on the sofa. Jake kept playing such tricks after that night. It was clear we couldn't live together anymore. When there were rules about wearing masks in March 2020, Jake didn't listen, which scared me. After more fights, one time even having to call the police and Jake being mean to my cat, I told him I wanted him out. By April 2020, only 3 months after we moved in together, Jake left. I felt so relieved. Looking back, I feel silly for moving in with Jake so fast, but the good thing is I learned from it. Later on, I met my soon-to-be husband. We took our time and dated for over a year before living together. I just hope someone reading this thinks twice before making a big move with someone they might not really know. And Jake, if you're reading this, I hope you're doing better, but please, let's not meet again. All right, let me tell you a story. Back when I started college, I got a surprise. Only a few days had gone by when I got a message on my phone from a super pretty girl in my class. She wanted to have dinner with me. We'll name her Lisa. To be honest, I hadn't been someone who got much attention from girls before, so this was a big deal for me. I quickly said yes. So, Lisa and I met for dinner. We talked, laughed, and everything seemed good. After a few times hanging out together, we started dating. You know how sometimes in college you end up dating someone who acts kind of strange? Well, that was Lisa for me. She did things that I found odd. Like, once she told me she was going to chat with a friend on the phone, but then I learned it was her old boyfriend. She made him believe that she wanted to get back together, but after a while she just said, "I was joking. My boyfriend, that's me, is here with me." She liked playing such games with her ex-boyfriends, maybe to feel important or something. I don't know why I didn't just say bye to her then. See, I didn't have a girlfriend in high school. Maybe that's why I was sticking around. Anyway, I soon found out that Lisa was dating me because I looked like a boy from her hometown. She used to like that boy. The strange part, I was 18 and that boy was only 13. But let's move to the next part. After we broke up, I'd sometimes get strange texts. I always thought it was Lisa and maybe her next boyfriend. When I tried to see who was texting me, the number was always hidden or from a house phone. And we all know you can't text from a house phone. I had blocked Lisa's number, but I guess she was using some apps to send texts with different numbers. Lisa kept trying to trick me. Once, she said she had a classmate in our first year who used to help her with notes. Later, that same classmate told me that they used to secretly meet while she was still dating me. And guess what? He also told me he got a sickness from her. I got worried. Just to be safe, I went to my family doctor, who's known me since I was a baby and even goes to the same church as me. It was so embarrassing to get checked for a sickness like that. But the results were clear. No sickness. It was all one of Lisa's tricks to scare me. I got used to these games. Every few months I'd get a weird text, think it's Lisa, and then just block the number. But one day, she went too far. I was dating a new girl for some time. Things were really good between us. We'll name her Jane. So one day, I got this message on my phone. The message said that the person had found Jane, my girlfriend, on a dating app called Tinder. This person had seen pictures of me with Jane on her Instagram and thought he should tell me about her being on Tinder. We'll name this person Mike. This was strange to me. I mean, how did Mike even get my phone number just by looking at an Instagram picture? It wasn't a message on Instagram, it was a direct text on my phone. Mike even sent me pictures from Jane's supposed Tinder profile. One of the pictures showed Jane in a swimsuit, which I hadn't seen before. He also sent messages that they had apparently exchanged on Tinder. The weirdest part? The messages showed that Mike knew details about where Jane lived. There was even a photo of a car parked outside Jane's house. That really freaked me out. At first, I was really upset. I thought, is this real? I hadn't used Tinder, so I didn't know how it worked. But then I looked closer at the messages. There was one where Mike wrote, "Okay, dead." But the bubble around the text was too big for just those 2 words. I tested this with a friend using a fake Tinder account and found that short messages don't have big bubbles like that. After some searching on the internet, I found a fake Tinder template. Guess what? It matched exactly with Mike's screenshot. Same time, battery level, everything. This told me the Tinder stuff was made up. I blocked Mike's number and showed everything to Jane. Jane was really scared. She called me saying she never made that Tinder account. She had never cheated or lied, so I believed her. Then she told me something even weirder. One of the swimsuit photos was from her friend's Instagram story from over a year ago. That meant someone had been watching her for that long. And how did they see a private Instagram story? You have to be added to a special list for that. What's creepier is that Jane had only moved to her new place a few months before I got these messages. Mike knew where she lived, and he even drove by to take a photo. I found out that sometimes you can find addresses online by paying a bit of money. Thinking that Lisa might have done all this to mess with me and Jane was really scary. Jane was so scared she stayed with her dad for some time. We're not dating now, but I hope she's safe from any more weird messages. As for me, I still get strange texts sometimes. They claim to be from Lisa's old boyfriends. That's just really, really weird.